Hi. I will begin this Blog Talk Radio show by sharing a sound in a song form as a beginning effort to get real guidance and a real education. New you. If a person tests this sound before going to sleep each evening for like 15 minutes or so and see what life shows you. The new you has always been the true reality of the all is. So we have Val Vitals with us, the Dean of the Nations United Universal University, which is part of the new presentation being given to the people of the earth at this time, after who knows how many lifetimes of all the experiences that we've all gone through to get to this point. I'd like to read a little bit of A Journey to Real Freedom, a book written by Dwayne Hepner that goes by Dwayne the Great Writer in his Amazing Romantic Adventures books that are available on what is it called?
Lulu Publishing or lulu.com.
Yeah, thanks, Val. So I'll start with, this is part of Nubook 2, A Journey to Real Freedom. And let's see if I can find where I was. It is true that human history has recorded the Hugh word, which was written by the reptilian aliens, as was the Bible and so many other so-called sacred doctrines. This planet is almost completely controlled by controlling earthly corporations. The rod of power, which is very real, as Paul referred to, was the first step to what is now the new wave is Dwayne and Ava. In 2014, the new wave is the new man and the new woman. We are real now. Human history, as we have come to know it, has all been controlled by reptilian aliens. They have controlled the United States from the days of George Washington. From Vatican headquarters comes all the orders to create the world wars, the Cold Wars, and all the takeovers that are seen on a daily basis in so many different ways that most people do not see. Life is not a belief. What is taking place today on the earth and many other round worlds is the effects from all the causes the reptilian alien lords have created. They try to be very clever with their deception to where they make their humanoid creations believe that what is taking place with the polluted and poisoned environment is either from their invented gods, something mysterious, or that it must be all the people on this earth not understanding the rules and regulations of the systems they have created to enslave everyone. Their whole demeanor is to keep the little minds of the earth so busy that people do not have the time to see what they are doing behind the scenes. The reptilian alien lords and the one world order lords rule the earth from their reptilian Capitol building in Rome, the Vatican. The world is led to believe they are for the good of the people and they are the holy rollers, so to speak, when in reality, the very opposite is true. Deception owns this world as the one world order lords hire the time trappers to subdue innocent people into a seduction with the influence and then tap lining them in their astral bodies while they sleep in their dreams. Here is where a person needs real guidance to start to recognize what is taking place with their life here. Otherwise, they will continue to stay asleep and be forced into agreeing with this passing dream. You make the choice. It seems very interesting, or makes a person wonder if we're not aware of these different planes like the astral and the causal and the mental and the etheric. What's really going on? It takes us many lifetimes, it sounds like, and all the experiences in them to come to a point where we, with helpful guidance, get a real education about what life's all about, what's really taking place, why we came to Earth, and a way to earn our way out of these realms, places in life, into real universes where there is no controlling authorities and brutalitarians. It sounds like for us to get to the different planes, it's a shift in our awareness, like from this physical plane to get to the astral plane. And it sounds like we have to have some real guidance to be able to shift our awareness. And it's like, what is it that everyone actually is looking for? What we came here for? The great secret of life? And all the experiences that we've been through, and then if these things like reptilian aliens controlling so much of the stuff that's happening on the earth that we live in these physical bodies, and that it's looking like, from what we see, if we're paying attention, about our air being polluted and our water being polluted and our food being polluted, and all these vaccines that are being given and causing things to take place in the human bodies, and many that aren't things that we'd want to have happen to us. It's just that this opportunity sounds like it only comes around so often for people to have the chance to earn our way out of these psych realms, so we don't have to keep reincarnating and coming back and experiencing worse and worse conditions here with the air, food, water, and the health of the body and mind, with all these things like microwaves that are being created here to have to be the effect of these powers that are being put out that sound like they affect our human bodies in ways that some people will be getting many different forms of illnesses, and the microwave stuff too, like mind controlling, so that if they want somebody to commit suicide, they'll just be able to make the physical brain decide to kill the physical body, and all these things that if we don't pay any attention to on Earth, it's just going to keep on happening. We're going to keep coming back, going through this human farming prison planet experience with these brutalitarian authoritarians making all these laws and rules to live by, or they lock us up, or they have people killed, or so many experiences that we've all been going through. So this is an attempt to share with others what's being offered right now to get into the real universes. So by beginning with the new you song, if a person's sincere and really wants to know what's really going on, to test it for themselves and find out for themselves, and get a hold of the new books that are available. So, is there something you'd like to mention, Val?
Yeah, Tim. Hi. Before
hi.
the show, I mentioned, thanks for being on and having the show. Before the show started, I mentioned a source of information. It's an outside source, but it's pretty good. I'll mention it on the air here. It's from Before It's News. It's an alternative news station. It's called Before It's News. And they had an article a couple of days ago about the secret space program. And it talks a lot about the reptilians and how they deal with, for instance, humans, which are to them valuable not only in terms of food, but valuable in terms of their emotions and their creativity, because the reptilians don't have certain aspects like we do, especially some of their emotions. And then humans are quite creative in their own way too. So a lot of times they do take humans off planet in their dreams, bring them back. They do experiments on them. They take DNA samples and, play around with DNA and genetics to see if they can come up with something that, they can use for themselves. And it's quite, the program is quite amazing. It's 2 hours, and I'll try to put a link on the show here after we're done. But more on that, it talks about, it has insiders. It has people that have been in the MK Ultra and the mind control programs that are basically set up through the government and sponsored by the reptilians, basically. And they talk about all the underground bases, which really one thing amazed me is how many there were. There's 60 or more underground bases around the world. It's not just Area 51, June Lake, I can't remember the others, but they're all over the world. And these are very sophisticated, bases with basically underground civilizations. I mean, these are huge cities even, and they have underground highways that connect to these civilizations or these cities. And they showed a map of where they go, underground. And a lot of the money that the Pentagon particularly spends on supposedly defense is to build these underground facilities, as well as the space programs, which is another part of this, is the moon and another space locations the government has going on in space and other planets and even other universes, other galaxies. By the way, they found out I think they mentioned eight planets similar to Earth on the outskirts of this galaxy that they found out. And what reptilians do, they go from planet to planet and they resource obtain the resources from the planet and do their havoc. Basically, they're destroyers, so they don't have a good intent behind everything, but they basically destroy in their own way. They obtain what they want from the planet and they destroy it pretty much. But there's so many other planets in the universe that they can do this, but they have the technology to go around and do this sort of thing. Another thing was mentioned was the reptilians basically started the sciences, the religion, the educational, medical. All these things are basically reptilian. In the background of all these things are reptilian influences. And the person mentioned there's no book on earth that has not been distorted. I mean, all the information we have in books, there's some kind of distortion in it, because they don't want the true reality to come true. And that's what Dwayne the Gray Rider, now his books, I would say, are not distorted, because he's telling it like it is, and he's providing a way through the matrix so we can see through this the reality that's been set up by these reptilians and the hierarchy. Basically, the hierarchy of how this comes down into the physical. And the politicians are just basically the puppets of the upper echelon of Council of 33, is it, and the Vatican, and just the Rothschilds, the bankers and such.